Hey Adventure Kids, it is so great to see you this morning and I can't wait to share today's Bible story with you. Oh hey Pascal, what are you doing?
Hey Pastor Steve, I'm pumping some iron, turning these soft Gouda muscles into jacked cheddar.
That's awesome Pascal, I love that you are working out and building your strength, but can I ask why you're doing that?
Well, I figure that God can't use a little mouse like me. I need to train hard and get really strong so I can do big things for God.
Well, I don't think that's how it works, Pascal. Actually, God can use anyone or anything to do amazing things no matter how small. In fact, that's our Bible point for today. God can make our little into something big.
Ouch! I think I strained a muscle.
Oh, why don't you take a little break, Pascal, and we'll listen to today's Bible story. There were once 5,000 tired and hungry, and probably grumpy, people sitting on a hillside wanting their dinner. They'd come to hear Jesus that day. They came before breakfast, stayed all morning, all afternoon, and way past dinner. No one had meant to be out there that long, but that's how it was, listening to Jesus, as if time didn't exist. People could listen to Jesus for hours, and on this particular day, that's just what they did. But they hadn't brought enough food, and they couldn't just go and find themselves a burger and fries to go, because, of course, they were in the middle of nowhere with no restaurants or shops. Besides, that kind of food wasn't invented yet. What would they do? Jesus' friends had an idea.
Let's send everyone home for dinner. They don't need to go.
Jesus said.
You can give them something to eat.
Did Jesus really want them to go all the way to town and buy food for everyone? Jesus' friends panicked.
But we don't have enough money.
What food do you have?
Jesus asked.
Go and see.
Now, there was a little boy in the crowd. He had brought a lunch that his mother had made for him that morning. He looked at his 5 loaves and 2 fish. It wasn't much, not nearly enough for 5,000, but it was all he had.
I have some,
he said. Jesus' friends laughed when they saw his little lunch.
That's not nearly enough,
they said. But they were wrong. Jesus knew it didn't matter how much the little boy had. God would make it enough, more than enough. Jesus said,
bring me what you have.
And so the little boy gave Jesus his lunch.
Why did the banana go to the doctor? He wasn't peeling well. You know you like that one. That was funny. Very funny. What's a chicken's favorite type of music? Get it? Bach. Hilarious. What says ooh? A cow with no lips. Made you laugh. Albert out. Peace.
Jesus' friends laughed when they saw his little lunch.
That's not nearly enough,
they said. But they were wrong. Jesus knew it didn't matter how much the little boy had. God would make it enough, more than enough. Jesus said,
bring me what you have.
And so the little boy gave Jesus his lunch. Jesus winked at the little boy and whispered in his ear,
watch. How in the world will Jesus feed everyone with that?
Jesus' friends said, because they thought it was impossible. But Jesus knew the one who made all the fish in the oceans. And Jesus knew the one who in the very beginning had made everything out of nothing at all. How hard would something like this be for someone like that? Jesus took the little boy's lunch, looked up to heaven, and thanked his Father. Then Jesus gave the little lunch back to his friends. As Jesus' friends started to hand out the food, do you know what? It was the strangest thing. No matter how much they broke off, there was always more, and more, and more. Enough for 5,000. Everyone ate as much as they wanted. Second helpings, third helpings, even fourths, until they were full. And still, there were leftovers. Well, Jesus did many miracles like this. Things people thought couldn't happen, that weren't natural. But it was the most natural thing in all the world. It's what God had been doing from the beginning, of course. Taking the nothing and making it everything. Taking the emptiness and filling it up. Taking the darkness and making it light. And that's our story.
Wow! God used a small boy with just a few loaves of bread and a couple of fish to feed 5,000 people. Imagine what he can do with a little mouse like me.
That's right, Pascal. You don't have to have big muscles or lots of money to do big things. In fact, you don't even have to be a grown-up. God could even use a little mouse like you to do big, amazing things.
That's right, and that's our Bible point, isn't it? Jesus can make our little into something big. Phew, I'm glad I don't have to pump iron anymore. Maybe I'll take up jogging instead, so I can run and tell all of my friends this really cool story.
That sounds great, Pascal. Have an adventurous week, everyone.
Hey Adventure Kids, this is the part of the show where you send in your questions to me, Jake, and I answer them. So let me grab my mailbag. Hi Jake, why did they used to kill or sacrifice lambs in the Bible? From Mateo. That is an awesome question. Killing or sacrificing a lamb is something that people who loved God would do a long time ago. It seems kind of weird, but here's why they did it. When people would do something wrong, there was a consequence. It's kind of like if you hit your brother, your mom or dad may give you a timeout. It wouldn't be fair if someone hit you and then didn't get a punishment, right? So instead of punishing his people, God allowed them to have a lamb receive that punishment. The lamb would pay for their sins. And they had to do this all the time because they sinned all the time. Then one day Jesus came and he was the lamb for everyone. That's when he died on the cross. He paid for every single sin. So no one would ever have to sacrifice a lamb again. Awesome question. Hi Jake, can you scare Pastor Bob? From Kate. That's a risky one, but let's find out. So remember, if you have a question for me, Jake, just go to takeawaywithjake.com and I'll answer your question right here on the show.